Right now at noon, the man who admitted to kidnapping Jamie Kloss and killing her parents is scheduled to be sentenced today. We'll have the latest ahead of his sentencing hearing. And President Trump gives his attorney general new power to investigate the 2016 Russia probe.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Everyone, I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Friday afternoon, the beginning of the long holiday weekend. Let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Chris Reese is standing by. Wet start to the holiday weekend.
It has been a very wet start to the holiday weekend, Mark. We have more wet weather to come. We are not done. We're tracking the next round of showers and thunderstorms that is to come, and then what's moving through right now. Let's go ahead and jump into Doppler track. We're actually at the back edge of the rain that's moving through as we speak. Here's where a lot of those showers are right now, pushing off to the east towards Milwaukee. Now, typically, you see your strongest winds on the leading edge of a complex of showers and thunderstorms, but this one a little bit different. We are actually seeing our strongest winds on the back edge. So here's the back edge of the range stretching from the Dells all the way down towards Janesville. That's where your strongest winds are going to be. Those are going to push towards the east. So places like Sun Prairie will be picking up on this in a little under half an hour. Some of these wind gusts have been upwards of 25 to even 35 or 50 miles per hour. Given that, we do have a wind advisory that's going to go until 2 o'clock today. We're looking to see if that needs to be extended towards the east. So stay tuned if the Weather Service decides to update that. Once we get beyond this cluster, we'll actually get a break, but then more chances for showers and thunderstorms come this afternoon. We are talking the possibility of high wind, hail, and even isolated tornadoes, so don't go anywhere. Your full holiday weekend forecast is coming up. Mark.
All right, we'll keep an eye on things. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Topping our news today, the Wisconsin man who admitted kidnapping a 13-year-old girl after killing her parents is due to be sentenced. 21-year-old Jake Patterson is facing life in prison when he's sentenced in Barron County Circuit Court at 1:30 this afternoon. He admitted to kidnapping Jamie Kloss and killing her parents on October 15th at the family's home. Jamie escaped in January after 88 days in Patterson's cabin. Patterson told authorities he decided Jamie, quote, was the girl he was going to take after he saw her getting on a school bus near her home. Patterson earlier pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide and kidnapping. Madison police and fire investigating after 2 people forced entry into a north side apartment and allegedly started a fire. Madison police say the incident was reported just before 10 o'clock last night at a 4-unit apartment building in the 1300 block of Ruskin Street. The victim told police 2 male suspects forced their way into the apartment unit. The victim ran into the bathroom and locked the door. The victim smelled smoke and was able to escape from the apartment and was not injured. Celebrity chef Mario Batali has pleaded not guilty to sexual assault. A woman reported that he groped and forcibly kissed her at a Boston restaurant in March of 2017. Batali was arraigned Friday on a charge of indecent assault and battery. He stepped down from operations of his restaurants and was kicked off the ABC show The Chew in 2017 after 4 women accused him of inappropriate touching. Missouri's capital city is getting back on its feet after a devastating tornado touchdown. Daylight brought a clear picture of the damage left behind after the violent tornado, with winds that reached an estimated 160 miles per hour, tore through Jefferson City the night before. The tornado tore roofs from homes and turned a car dealership into a junkyard. Thankfully, no one was killed. However, the threat continues through Memorial Day weekend. Missouri faces the possibility of even more severe weather. U.S. officials say the Trump administration has notified Congress it plans to send 1,500 troops to the Middle East amid heightened tensions with Iran. Earlier this week, officials had said that Pentagon planners had outlined plans that could have sent up to 10,000 military reinforcements to the region. The U.S. began reinforcing its presence in the Persian Gulf this month in response to what it says was a threat from Iran. The war of words with President Trump and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has reached a new level. This comes as the president is declassifying intelligence material to help the Attorney General launch an investigation of the investigators who launched the Russian probe. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Trump is now questioning the capabilities of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
I have been watching her for a long period of time. She's not the same person. she's lost it.
Speaker Pelosi suggested it's the president who may need help following an abrupt end to a meeting on infrastructure Wednesday.
I wish that his family or his administration or his staff would have an intervention for the good of the country.
Overnight, the president had pinned a tweet showing a selectively edited video from that same press conference that aired on the Fox Business Network. It showed the speaker stumbling over words.
Sending signals.
The tweet is no longer at the top of the president's Twitter feed. And the Washington Post is reporting that right-wing groups are slowing down videos of the speaker to make it appear as though she's slurring her words.
Do something historic for our country.
This comes as the president has described the actions of some of the people involved in the Russia investigation as treasonous. He's now giving his attorney general new power to investigate the investigators. In a memo late Thursday, the White House announced William Barr can bypass agencies who usually control whether their secrets are made public. Barr will now decide what the public does and does not find out about the origins of the Russia probe. Democrats slammed both the selective use of classified material and the investigation as a whole.
This is all nonsense. There is no basis whatsoever to believe that anybody in the intelligence community did anything wrong in terms of starting the investigation.
The handling of the Russia probe is already under investigation. The Justice Department Inspector General is expected to complete his report within the month. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
And Attorney General Barr has picked U.S. Attorney John Durham to lead his investigation of the start of the Russian probe. Theresa May says she will step down as UK Conservative Party leader on June 7th, sparking a contest to become Britain's next prime minister. May's announcement comes after months of relentless criticism and pressure from her party to quit over her failure to take Britain out of the European Union on schedule. Her departure will trigger a party leadership contest in which any Conservative lawmaker can run. The early front-runner is Boris Johnson, a former foreign secretary and strong champion of Brexit. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you think all burgers are created equal, you better stick around, because the burgers we're making today are over the top. You know, it seems like forever since we had a long weekend. And with this weekend being the unofficial start to summer, I can't wait to cook up some burgers and relax. At least that's the plan until something else is added to my never-ending honey-do list. But even with that, I guarantee I'll make time for these over-the-top burgers. To make them, all we do is mix together some ground beef, barbecue sauce, and a touch of salt and pepper. Now we form these into patties, and here's a little tip. Make an indentation in the center of each patty before cooking them so they don't puff up and end up looking like meatballs. Depending on the weather, we can cook them inside in a grill pan, or skillet, or out on the grill. A couple of minutes on each side is all it takes before we top them with a slice of white cheddar. Now we build them with all of our favorites. Lettuce, tomato, bacon, yeah, bacon. And to go a step further, make sure you don't forget to slather these with our homemade garlic mayo and pile on some crispy onion rings. I hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our honky-tonk burgers, so you'll have it on hand this weekend. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, wishing you a happy Memorial Day. And even with everything else going on, don't forget to take a moment to remember those who gave of themselves so we can live in freedom. After all, that's the true meaning of, ooh, it's so good.
Howard, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, a rainy end of the work week. Meteorologist Chris Reese will let us know what's in store for this holiday weekend next in your First Alert forecast. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. Call the hotline. Volunteers will help you with any consumer complaints. The number is 608-270-2833. The service is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials up 115 points. The NASDAQ in plus category as well, 35 points. S&P 500 up almost 10. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee on this rainy Friday morning.
Yeah, I bet you can imagine what we've been talking about most of today since I walked in this morning and started hearing the rain coming down. So our window of opportunity for planting corn in southern Wisconsin is really quickly coming to a close, and that's got the market's attention. We're going into a 3-day weekend. Some of the traders down in Chicago might actually visit with farmers or take a look at some farm fields during their 3-day weekend. That will only solidify how delayed we are as far as planting is concerned. Last Sunday, we had 35% of our Wisconsin corn crop in the ground. We may have gotten a few things done this week, but obviously not a lot. Dr. Joe Lauer, University Extension corn specialist, is basically saying in southern Wisconsin, we're switching varieties so that we don't need as much time to produce that grain. But now all of a sudden with this rain that we're picking up, it's not just light rain this time around. Probably a lot of farmers thinking about pulling the trigger on prevented plant acres for corn, at least in southern Wisconsin. According to some analysis by Farm Futures magazine, they might at least be able to cover their operating expense, but this is going to require some very, very deep cuts on individual farms. Farm employees are going to have to be let go. You're going to have to do more yourself. A lot of different things like that farmers are going to have to employ if they're going to try to get by with a prevent plant situation. Talking about all that MFP money, that sunny money yesterday, that's not going to amount to hardly even a trickle for most of our Wisconsin farms. So they have to make decisions based on the weather. The dairy markets today in Chicago go in a lot of different directions. We've got barrel cheese that's down 3.5 at $1.58. The AA butter unchanged, as well as 40-pound block cheese, both unchanged for Friday. We've actually seen a fairly robust dairy international market this week. Right now, the United States is one of the cheapest spots in the world that you can go to buy butter. Thought that was interesting, talking with an analyst this morning. But like I said, Mark, honestly, until we can get a stretch of dry weather, everything about Wisconsin agriculture from a farming standpoint, corn, soybeans, even our alfalfa, is very much up in the air. We've got alfalfa fields that are ready to be harvested for ideal quality, but nobody's foolish enough to go out there and try it in this weather.
Yeah, it's just stuck in the mud. You're not going far.
See, that's right. But put the boots on, bring the Gore-Tex, because I'm going to be emceeing the Greene County Breakfast on the Farm tomorrow morning down in Browntown, and those go on regardless, rain or shine. So please come out and support our dairy farmers.
June Dairy Month, right around the corner.
That's right.
All right, have a great weekend, Pam.
You too.
Let's head over to Chris Reese now and find out when this rain's going to end.
Mark, we're going to see rain chances going throughout the weekend and into early next week. We will see some dry hours going through the weekend as well. In fact, we're going to get in on a couple of dry hours as we go through the next couple of hours before more showers and thunderstorms move back in. In the meantime, it's cloudy. Temperatures are right around 56 degrees. A lot of folks are in the 50s, 60s as you work your way towards the south and west. That is where we find a warm front gradually starting to lift its way northward. In the meantime, winds are coming out of the south and east. They're going to be staying out of the south and east as we go through the rest of the afternoon and evening. But we watched a couple rounds of showers and thunderstorms going through the morning. There was the one that came late last night into the wee hours. Then we had another late this morning. That's moved through now. And now we watch this complex of showers and thunderstorms closer towards the lake shore. You're talking the Milwaukee metro, down towards Kenosha, back towards Fort Atkinson. That is where we're seeing the shower and thunderstorm activity as we speak. We move back towards the south and west, and you notice that we start to get in on just a little bit of clearing. That is where that break in the action comes, but we still do have a slight risk for severe thunderstorms later on this afternoon and evening. This is due to another round of showers and thunderstorms that's likely to develop later on along a cold front. That risk for severe weather, folks, extends all the way down to the Mexico border and parts of southern Texas. So a lot of folks getting in on a threat for severe weather. Here's the state of Wisconsin. Notice how right around Madison and just to the north and just to the south, that's where we do have that slight risk for severe weather. And what we're looking for in that slight risk is actually, yes, we do have a few possible tornadoes to be mindful of later on this afternoon. We are also looking at the possibility of hail. There is an elevated risk for that, along with winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Here's a bigger look at that tornado threat. It's not just in Wisconsin. That goes all the way down into parts of Illinois, eastern Iowa, and really all the way down towards Texas. Some of these same areas have the risk for large hail, and these same areas also do have that risk for the higher wind potential. We're talking in excess of 60 miles per hour. And one of the things that would be a key ingredient to how bad the weather could get is if we see some sunshine. So we're looking at cloud cover right now. Notice the clearing starting to show up across parts of central Iowa. If that can make it into Wisconsin, then yes, we do have a better chance at seeing some stronger thunderstorms later. That's what Future Track is starting to pick up on, especially as we go into the evening hours. Let's come closer to home and show you this. Here we are right around dinner time. Notice that a lot of these are more so isolated in nature. That's actually what's scary. As you see, isolated showers and thunderstorms, these are the ones that have the greater potential to be strong and severe, producing hail and an isolated tornado or two. So stay very weather aware as we go into the rest of this afternoon and evening. That pushes out as we move into the overnight hours, which is good news. You may see a few isolated storms. Then sunshine returns into Saturday. We could see highs near 80. As we move into your Saturday afternoon, as most of the shower and thunderstorm activity moves further towards the south. We'll stay dry on Sunday, then into Monday and Tuesday, more rounds of showers and thunderstorms do return to our forecast. So the moral of the story is things are going to be staying very, very busy. But today is an alert day, especially as we go into the afternoon, and I do want to encourage everyone to stay weather aware. Now, while I don't think we are looking at a major severe weather outbreak this afternoon, those isolated storms, when you have an environment as unstable as ours could be this afternoon, they're ones to watch. They tend to sneak up on you and do some damage. So yeah, be mindful of that later on.
Let's hope we don't see the sun.
Hope we don't see the sun. Exactly. It's one of those days where you want to hope for cloud cover, because the more sun you get, the worse the weather could be later.
All right, we'll keep an eye on things.
All right.
Thank you, Chris. Ahead on News 3 Now at noon, confusion and controversy at the Iowa State Track and Field Championships. We'll tell you why after the break. It is a day that no one present at this year's Iowa State track meet will soon forget, especially Joe Anderson and Will Roeder. Owen Sebring has the story.
It seems like everywhere I go, people are asking me what I think about it, and it's just crazy how one event can change so much.
2 laps to go.
Right from the start, legendary track announcer Mike J is just a bit off.
There were, in fact, 3 laps to go in the Class 1A 3,200-meter run at the state track meet.
It was a good race, and then for some reason they rang the bell a lap early, and the announcer just kept going with it, said last 200.
Somewhere along the 8-lap race, the digital lap counter at the finish line got 1 lap ahead. This led to Mike J's missed call and the bell lap being rung 1 lap too early.
And we're heading to the bell. Anderson and Roeder.
It had been a heated race between Joe Anderson of George Little Rock and Will Roeder of Lamar's Galen. Anderson had already beat Roeder 3 times this season, so thinking it was the final 100 meters, Roeder sprints to the finish line. You can hear the cheers in the stadium diminish once the crowd sees Anderson keep running and realizes the mistake. Anderson finishes the true 8th lap in first place with Roeder in 3rd, a difference in mental running style leading to a confusing finish.
Is that something that it's hard for you to normally do to keep track of the laps in your own
My mind
head?
just goes blank. I can't do nothing. I just rely on them so much with the counting.
They rang the bell. Did that at least make you think, like, okay, this must be the last lap?
No, I had the laps counted, so I knew.
Race officials deliberated and later that evening decided that Roeder would be declared the winner because the majority of runners stopped after the 7th lap due to the confusion. Obvious disappointment on the part of Anderson, who bounced back on Saturday, ran the 1600 against Roeder. They share some love before the race, and the most highly publicized bell ringing in state history goes off without a hitch this time around. Anderson, a senior, wins the race, so after being stripped of the first gold medal of his career, he finally can claim the title of state champion.
Having redemption in the 16, they made the weekend end on a good note, and it just took any bitterness, any sadness I had, just wiped it away.
Only that's still not the end of the story. On Monday, the Iowa High School Athletic Association, who declined to comment for this story, overruled the race officials' decision and named Roeder and Anderson co-champions of the 3,200-meter race.
I feel like that was the best situation because you don't want to take it away from Will either because it wasn't his fault, and I feel like I kind of deserved one because I crossed the 32 line first, so this is a tough situation, so I feel like co-champions is a good way to end this race. It's kind of cool to be part of such a big event. You know, at the time you think, wow, why'd this have to happen to me? But then a few days later, you're like, wow, that happened to me. That was a blessing.
Oh, the drama. Chris Reese now with a final look at our weather.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to be keeping our eyes to the sky as we go through the rest of this afternoon, Mark, just because we could see more showers and thunderstorms. These will have the best chance to be severe. We're watching for the potential of damaging winds, hail, and isolated tornadoes.
All right, keep it right here. Keep an eye on things. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.